Ed, line it up. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your hosts, Nelson.
Ian.
Ed.
That was really nice. It was poised.
I like to
Took a deep
dramatic
breath.
pause.
Those acting schools are paying off.
They are.
Yeah, yeah. You do improv now?
I do, yeah. Producer keeps touching me. What are you gonna do? It's Hollywood.
That's probably not a part of the improv troupe, but
It helps build,
character?
angst, sadness in the character.
yeah, sadness in the
Frustration.
character.
Penn State method.
yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that brings me to the movie that I seen, You People, today.
It looks good.
I have to say it was really funny. And Eddie Murphy was probably the least funniest part of the movie.
Wow, that's very unbecoming of a legendary comedian.
Did he played the straight man in the movie?
He did. He played the straight man, but not only that, like the asshole father.
Didn't he get caught with like a hooker that was a suspect?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And you know what?
And he's playing a straight man.
Back then it was
right.
shunned. Now he would be accepted and praised for going out there.
He would be considered progressive.
Yes.
Yeah. Supposedly the story is he had enough women, etc., that he began experimenting.
He Billy Idoled this bitch.
That's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, listen. My
looking
friend.
it up right now.
Yeah. What he said was he saw somebody on the side of the road that needed help, and he picked them up.
Sure. Yeah. What kind of help are we looking for?
I don't know.
Eddie Murphy, 1997, busted with transsexual prostitute.
Yep.
Hey, man, live it up. You got
To
one
each-
life.
To each their own.
Yeah.
So,
That's a different flavor.
in this movie, like,
So Eddie Murphy's going to be playing Hogwarts Legacy.
yeah,
Got it. He probably pre-ordered it too.
he's in like a synagogue, some kind of a church gathering there, and like one of the rabbis walks up to him. He's like, "Hey, no, not a rabbi. He was a doctor." He goes,
Close
how
enough.
about we go into the bathroom? I'll take a look at your penis for you." He's like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "No, free of charge. Don't worry about it. Make sure everything's going good with your penis." He's like, "I think I'll pass." He's like, "Oh, why? What's wrong?" He's like, "The whole situation. The whole situation is wrong here." But like,
You mean you don't just go into the bathroom with a strange man when he asks to examine your
but
penis?
he's a doctor, though. I mean,
yeah, it's okay.
that makes it okay, right?
Sure. Seems legit.
Disclaimer.
So
It is not okay.
So is Hannibal Lecter. He was a doctor.
It is not okay, people. If somebody walks up to you and says, "Hey, I'll give you a free penis examination," feel free to say no and walk away. You have our full
But
support.
you have the choice, so you can also say yes.
Yes, I mean, but if you go in there, be forewarned, it's not going to be
What happens in Vegas stays in
a
Vegas.
doctor's visit. I actually thought the movie was really funny. There was a couple of like woke moments in it, if you would.
Very common.
But
these
it
times.
lends to the entire narrative of the movie, because the whole narrative of the movie is Jewish man marries a black woman,
Right.
and both of their families are culturally trying to find a way to agree with each other. But I think they did it in a tasteful way. It was pretty fucking funny.
Does it have a powerful message?
No.
Damn.
They try to have a powerful message, but I was more interested in the humor.
Yeah. How about let's just make an entertaining thing?
Yeah, and that's what it was.
Not
it was
anymore.
It was entertaining with a side of one of the writers was like, "I've got a message to tell." It's like, "Yeah, we can do without." But like, there was some really good, fucking funny movie parts in there. Some good actors, some good actresses. Spoiler. There's a bachelor party, and he's like, "Oh, I see your friends do a lot of coke." He's like, "No, I never do any coke." And then like the friend's like, "Hey, bro, we ran out of coke. Can you call your coke guy?" He's like, "I don't do coke." He's like, "You're coke guy." And then he taps the next person who taps the strippers, who's like, "Your coke guy." How does he not remember his coke guy? Like, while sitting there next to the father of the bride, funny, stupid shit like that I eat up.
I mean, if you can afford Coke, you're probably doing financially well.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't that be like a positive? In
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, he's
I can't afford
fiscally
Coke.
responsible enough to do the coke in abundance. I say
there you
yes,
go.
yes,
Yes.
why not?
That's good.
So
That's good.
I enjoyed it. I recommend it if you're
there you
looking for
go.
just a lighthearted
What's it called?
movie.
Hey, whoa. Hey, whoa.
You,
Uh-oh.
you
Who are you
people?
working
Uh-oh.
for?
You people?
Hey.
Apple's trying to get an early preview of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. See, my phone doesn't, You know, offer its opinion because it's a fucking Samsung.
Isn't it a flip?
like an
Isn't
adult?
it a flip phone? Can you text?
Yes,
you got to
I
hit the
can.
button
I
4
can.
times, like
I can.
A.
But I get to
C.
control what my phone says.
D.
Unlike you, who thinks for you.
I prefer it that way.
Yeah,
I haven't thought for myself in quite some time.
It is easier.
That's how I prefer to live.
I can't stop eating. This is not good.
No, these are good. These are good.
You're following on YouTube, then I apologize.
Before we jump into the meat and potatoes, right? Which is going to be The Last of Us.
You brought meat and potatoes?
And Vox Machina, because both have been delivering in a major way.
Yeah, Vox Machina is much stronger this season than the first season.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. By far, and I like that because it shows progression in the writing style, and it shows that
I'm
they
sure
were
Shay
listening.
still hates it wherever he's at.
He tried to.
In his troll cave.
He tried to hate it. He tried to hate it.
He gets
and then-
Wi-Fi in that troll cave, so he is listening.
But then he came around. He came around like the rest of us. Some of the trailers we were watching looked pretty good. I know some of the video games you guys are looking forward to that you're playing. Actually,
Yeah.
What's up with that world?
Elden Ring, man.
Mm-hmm.
Elden Ring, I will say, I played and beat God of War, and I am 50 hours into Elden Ring. I have no problem with Elden Ring being Game of the Year. It's that good. I'd never played. I played one Dark Souls type game. It was Sekiro. It was just, I wasn't into the world of the dark, feudal Japan, like the way they tried it. I guess I'd played so much Ghost of Tsushima, I wasn't ready to jump into another Japanese title, and it was so damn hard that I just. There's no enjoyment. I was like, I don't want to play this. This is stupid.
Have you ever eaten bad Tsushima?
Bad sushi? No. I've eaten bad seafood before. But
all right.
not bad.
But not bad sushi.
No,
All
I've
right,
always had a good Tsushima experience.
Yeah, I heard
But
that.
yeah, Elden Ring is like the first Souls game I've gotten into, and because like George R.R. Martin like was involved in the world and everything, you can kind of feel how epic and grand they tried to make it.
Yep.
50 hours in, I still don't fully understand the plot, and I still don't know where I'm going, and I'm terrified of everything I see. But I love it. I still love it.
That's awesome.
Anything can kill you. Anything you see, if you do not give it respect and carefully approach it, I don't give a shit. I'm level
It shall
80.
murder
I'm level
you.
80 something. I can get murdered by a foot soldier. Damn. That's how the game is. It just keeps you constantly on the edge of your.
There's something
seat.
cool about
So
that.
Yeah.
all the levels are arbitrary.
Yeah, unless you put it all into health just to give yourself a window to survive. I mean, you can do that, I guess.
It's like I'm level 80, and the level 1 guy still kills me.
Still kills you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that guy.
Yep.
That's one of the things I liked about Borderlands is that like when you had trouble with some of those bosses in the very original Borderlands, and then like leveled up and then later came back, you could be like, oh, remember when you gave me a hard time, bitch? I'm gonna murder your whole clan.
Which is how it should be.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, they had.
You can die to somebody, come back 20 hours later, and just die in a different way.
Yeah.
He's still going to kill you.
They're like, oh, we still have 6 more. Come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
The bosses are so grand, like so grand. Like the Latin music starts playing, the tone shifts, and you're just like, you're looking at this thing, what the fuck is this thing? And it just starts killing you. And then when its health bar gets lower, it changes up its attack pattern. It will deliberately, I swear to God, I'm fighting this thing. I'm not going to spoil anything. But I'm fighting this thing in this castle. And I was so close to killing him. And he deliberately did the same moveset that he was always doing that I know when to dodge. And when I went to dodge, he slowed down he stopped. He slowed everything down to let me dodge and then crushed me. I was like, you can slow down your combo?
That is sick.
I was like, the people at congratulations to people at From Software. That was a masterpiece. I was like, I was so pissed, but I smiled. I was like,
Yeah, there's-
that was good.
when
That
you
was
can
good.
recognize the beauty behind the
He
mechanics.
fainted. The boss fainted and got me. I was like, okay, all right, that was decent. Okay,
As
you
long
faked
as
me
that
out.
becomes like the new pattern, that's fine. But if it's like a occasional pattern just for the game to beat you for the to up the difficulty, but not upping the difficulty because the pattern, it's upping the difficulty just to be a dick. That's not fun.
It is one of the hardest games I've ever played,
Right.
but it remains fun.
That's cool.
Something can kill you dozens of times, and you still want to fight it again. And that I still want to be like right now. I'm fighting Riker, the Lord of Fire, and I fucking can't wait to try again.
Hell yeah.
I cannot wait to like. I'm going to beat you, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna get you. If you're listening, Riker.
What about you, Ed? Video game wise or anything like that?
I've been running through Diablo 2, but honestly, if you played any of the it's like all the other Diablo
The
games.
remastered?
Yeah, the remastered.
Okay.
It's nice. The game, I mean, up close, the game looks gorgeous, but it's it's a very far away zoom camera for the game. It's one of the only issue I really have with it is like they should have made it a couch co-op. Like if you're remastering the game
Yeah.
and part 3 is a couch co-op, why would you not bring that to the remaster?
Sure.
And why would you only make it online?
You think it's that
makes,
much of a difficulty in the coding to do something
I
like
don't.
that?
I mean, it can't. I imagine it can't be. If they manage to do it with other games when they do things like that, it's what I think is just they didn't want to do it.
Right.
It
Four's
was
gonna be couch
it was
co-op, right?
it was probably more about time than it was about difficulty.
I hope 4 is couch
I
co-op.
believe I don't think they're gonna undo couch co-op in 3 and going into 4.
Yeah.
That would make no sense.
Right.
Because there's very few, I mean Borderlands being one of the others, couch co-op games that are even left.
Yeah,
Sure.
But that's like to steal Nelson's phrase. That's the meat and potatoes of
Yeah.
dungeon crawling.
Yeah.
Just to sit down on the couch with your friends and.
I mean,
loot.
some
Yeah.
of the
Yep,
some of the games
absolutely.
now they're making multiplayer, but you can't even do local multiplayer.
Which is sad.
You have to do online multiplayer, and they do that just for like DRM purposes and all that other nonsense. Where it's like, I got the game, just let me play the fucking game in my house. This
Yeah.
is
I get it.
like it's an additional step or payment essentially. Like they just want your money for an online service. They want your information.
I mean, I'm not.
They want you to log in. It's like, come on, I got
It's
enough
getting-
emails. I don't
it's
need more
getting
fucking
irritating.
emails.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If I found out, like, I'm excited for Diablo 4, but if I found out it wasn't couch co-op,
Yeah. It might not be.
I might pick up Final Fantasy 16 in June and just skip Diablo.
Ooh.
I know that's how bad it would be, man. I'm like, if I'm gonna play a single player game, I might as well play a
you might
single
as well.
player game.
I mean, I almost didn't bother
I can agree
playing
with that.
Fuck, I
2
mean.
because I had got 3 because it was on a crazy sale and 2 was free with part 3.
Right.
And I went to turn on 2 and it wasn't working and I was like, just let me play offline. I see the option. I start the game. It says to play offline. I press the button to go play offline and then it doesn't start and it kept doing it over and over. And I jumped online real quick. It's like, oh, because you have to register and connect your account first. And then every so many days you have to log in online to be allowed to play offline. Like I paid for
It's
the
so
fucking
silly.
game.
playing.
Just let
To
me
make
play
you
the
jump through
goddamn
hoops
game.
is
Why do I gotta
ridiculous.
make more accounts and connect this account to that account and all this other bullshit
Yeah.
just to play the thing I already paid for?
I know.
Yeah.
With Elden Ring, if you play online, the downside is you can get invaded at any time by another person. So you'll be like traveling,
Right.
and all of a sudden, like you're riding your horse, and all of a sudden your horse disappears, or you're forced to get off your horse. And I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? And all of a sudden, this guy who's bright red is running across the fucking and you know they're good.
Right.
You know it's like a veteran Dark Souls player when they have no fucking armor on.
Oh.
So there's a guy running towards you in his underwear with a giant club, and you're like, oh shit!
that's the
Oh,
worst.
no, come on, no!
That's like the dude that
You're like, I
he
don't want
play-
to lose my souls. Come
It's
on.
such
He
a
plays-
dick move.
he
Yes.
plays in like a diaper with a pot on his head.
Yes.
They sent him some shit as like a thank you because he had got so much publicity for just beating the same boss over and over again with no armor. He was
Yeah.
just in his loincloth and a pot on his head that I think they added him into the game.
There are people who are
That
so
is
good.
crazy.
No, actually, Elden Ring has enemies that are just pot and
Oh, the
jar
big-
design.
Base
Yes.
enemies.
Yes.
Yes.
They're giant pots. It's
That's fucking great.
The-
That's
the-
So you
great.
can be, if you're really good at Dark Souls, if you're really good at the timing and the stuff that From Software designed, you can literally make a career of just hunting down other players and killing them in their world.
yeah, you can just
Damn.
You can be an ultimate troll.
make it a point to be an asshole.
Yeah, and there are some.
Sounds like a game I could get into.
I've lost to a couple people that were really good. Like
Yeah.
they came at me. They could tell by the way I was moving and the way I was built. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna fucking
Oh,
trash
yeah.
this dude.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even."
But I've only been playing Diablo 2 right now as a placeholder. I'm really waiting. It's a couple more days from now. Is the Hogwarts Legacy,
Okay.
which at this point they started bringing in.
Yeah, there's some guy that hunted 3,000 players.
They started bringing in like YouTubers
Nestle.
and game journalists and allowing them to get hands on and put out like essentially a partial review.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they won't let them review the story or any things that would ruin the story, but they're allowing them to show the footage of them running around the castle and flying and doing the fighting and all that other stuff. So they're showing more than what other games sometimes do. Like when you know a game is definitely bad, they don't allow
They show
anything.
less.
Yeah. Like the closer to like the second the game is released that they hold the review, then you know that there's something wrong. If they're
So
really
Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna suck.
yeah, if they're really confident,
We know nothing.
they'll allow it like the day or the week before. Like the more time they allow the full review,
Yeah.
the more confident they actually are that they have a solid product.
All right. I can
Right.
see that. Well, speaking of dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Yes. The
Definitely
trailer,
more enjoyable than Dungeons.
Yeah, the second trailer to Dungeons and Dragons looks promising. I mean, it's
It looks
gonna
good, but I'm still scared because of like the movies that have come before it. Man.
Yes.
I have
I'm
to
nervous.
agree.
I'm nervous.
It does still look like it's a little campy, right? But I'm okay with campy.
But it's good campy.
Yeah, it's
It looks
good campy. It looks
It
funny.
looks Monty Python campy.
They have
It does.
they have
It
a
does.
proper
So I'm okay
budget.
with that.
A lot
Yeah.
of the Dungeons and Dragon movies previously didn't really have a budget to put on screen the things you would want to see on screen.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
they get halfway there and it's like, well, I guess they spent all their budget on the graphics and nothing on the writers, perhaps.
There's some actors in this though. I mean,
But
Chris Pine,
yes.
Michelle Rodriguez, and I'm pretty sure that one wizard was Hugh Grant.
Yes.
Oh yeah, oh it definitely was.
Okay,
Great.
so-
and Pokemon
So-
Pet Detective,
Now I know
he was in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
I know.
So they got some
Dungeons and
stars in
Dragons has like a bit of an open IP, the way people can use it. But I wonder if this is actually,
Is Wizards of the Coast?
if
gonna
it
get created?
is like someone properly from Dungeons and Dragons working behind it, because you can. I mean,
you
they
can see
are
the difference in just the weaponry alone.
Yeah.
Because when we were watching the
there was
trailers,
a lava axe.
There
a
was
lava axe.
weaponry and the way that they were doing like just basic missiles with the
Yeah.
wizards and things like that. It looked like, oh, this is like Dungeons and Dragons lore
Yeah.
on the
Because
big screen.
because I knew that Dungeons and Dragons was fairly open in terms of the way the IP works. I didn't realize how almost open it was. It really is very varied in terms of what you can really do with it, and it really didn't pop up until this whole thing with them trying to change it and all the creators kind of getting in an uproar like, don't be doing that now. Leave that shit alone.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much they had a hand in the previous movies versus this movie, which is, it's one of those things where, again, like when you start deviating too far from the creator because you want it to be
Right.
different,
The Witcher.
or have, or some
Yes.
executive wants to put in their 2 cents to justify how much of a Christmas bonus they're getting this year.
Yep. Yeah.
That ruins everything, so it looks good.
I want a
but
spider in every movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every movie.
Listen.
That's what happened to Wild Wild West, right?
Yeah, Kevin Smith wrote a Superman script, and they kept trying to shoehorn a giant spider. And then years later, he saw that in Wild Wild West, the guy, the executive, finally got his giant spider in a movie, and it made it in the Will Smith. That's the only reason that giant spider was in there, because this executive had a hard-on for getting a giant mechanical spider into some kind of a movie.
That's fucking great.
And
His life goal was giant spider attacks the city, and he made it happen. So
He did.
kudos to him.
I mean, it works for the movie.
It did.
But it is a little weird when you're like,
It's a
oh,
weird
that's just
fascination.
It is.
one guy who's just really wants that to happen.
So we have to see the list of movies he's worked on, and maybe it's like
and
a
see what
recurring-
kind of spider related. Yeah. Arachnophobia, Charlotte's Web, Spider-Man 1, 2, 10.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that. I wonder, like, if he had like a recurring, like he was a serial spider.
But that's one of the
Yeah.
things
Sorter.
that
Possible.
that just shows you like what goes on with like executive notes. Where like, we know you have a really good story. Now, manage to squeeze in 20 minutes of this nonsense that I want into that perfect script that you spent 5 years
So-
working on.
So now,
So now
rumor
you,
has it-
now you as the creator, you're forced to like watch your hard work get bastardized.
You gotta-
because some
yes,
guy
yes.
wants
Some
a giant
way,
fucking
yeah.
spider.
Which one of your little pieces of your story you getting rid of to squeeze in the
so
giant
great.
spider?
Can you imagine
So-
doing that to like an artist or something, like someone who's painting something? Like, hey, this is great. It's a great backdrop of Florence, but is there any way you could paint a giant spider by this
so
bridge?
I know you made the Mona Lisa, but I was hoping we could get a spider on her face.
Exactly. So like Mona Lisa's like looking over her shoulder, like,
Yeah. So Henry Cavill recently put out another statement with regards to The Witcher in Netflix, and he was like, "I was fully prepared to do 7 more years
Yeah.
of The Witcher if the writers stuck to the original storyline."
He pursued
actively.
He
I hate the
actively
writers of The Witcher. I hate them.
pursued that role and lobbied to get that role.
So the only reason why The Witcher is turned into shit from this last season or standalone, I should say, that came out, and perhaps after this third and final season, the way I'm looking at it,
Yeah.
of The Witcher, they're gonna take the reins and they're gonna just brutally destroy the show. And
if you don't
for
believe
no
it,
reason.
if you don't believe it, take a look at Blood Origins.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the direction we're going.
I just all the bad reviews of Blood Orange, I haven't gotten to it because I'm like,
Don't get to it.
Everyone
Don't
is
get to
saying
it.
watch Last of Us, so I started Last of Us. Oh, Vox Machina came out, so I started watching that. Like, I got so many other things to watch.
When there's
Good things to watch.
Yeah, so if there's reviews coming out and you're like, everyone's saying this is good and everyone's saying this is bad, I'm going over this way first.
So
Yeah.
he made it a personal point to go to war with the writers, and rightfully so. He
As
was
he
right.
should. As he
He was
should.
right, because look at how great the show is, and when they were left to their own devices,
Yep.
just how shitty
The
it was.
show is so good that it just got bigger and big. Like The Witcher is a story written by a Polish author. Literally it gets picked up by a game, and then they make 2 games. It continues to grow to gain steam and momentum. By the time they made the 3rd game, it wins like hundreds of fucking awards.
Yep.
It becomes literally, in my opinion, one of the greatest games of all time.
Right.
The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. So big that they make a show out of it. The work is concrete.
Yeah.
It's
Stick to the source
successful.
material.
Look at how much steam it gained. Why the fuck would you change it?
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
So what you've done is you've driven a A-list star
Yep.
who could have carried the show for 7 to 10 years
Yep.
easily, and you drove him away.
Yeah.
And now it's gonna fucking suck.
It is. It is.
You got people
Wait,
that
wait.
go into entertainment, and instead they should just be doing a TED talk for whatever it is that they're trying to say.
Yeah.
Right, become a fucking activist.
Yeah.
Stop ruining shit that other
Sell
people
it.
enjoy.
Sell it to Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Sell it before season 4 starts. Sell it to Amazon Prime. Keep Henry Cavill. Finish this season 3. I think it's going to be great. And then let somebody else take the reins. If you don't want to do what the man wants to do, and one of the other things is that he said too is that the set life for The Witcher was very, very demanding.
Yeah.
And didn't allow for other projects to be chased. So he wanted just a little more leeway with the set time. I'm sure he would have worked it out, and
Yeah,
it wouldn't have suffered in the show.
Yeah, and I'm sure he would have stuck around even for the intensive set life if it was something he believed in.
Yeah.
You can't,
Agreed.
you can't really make that your only project if you don't believe in what you're doing.
Agreed. Agreed. So that's where we are.
So if
with
that's not
The
a reason to say,
Witcher.
fuck you, the Netflix writers. Fuck you, Netflix writers.
Yeah.
Way to go. Way to go.
Fucking bastard.
That really that bugged me when I woke up and found out that Henry Cavill was stepping down from The Witcher. When I saw that article,
Yeah.
I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt it. I was like, no, that's
Yeah.
like a show that I look forward to so much. Just not gonna be looking forward to it.
It
anymore.
definitely was a stab in the heart, but better that he walked away from it and held his ground than he stayed and we watched the show turn to shit.
Yeah.
So we at
We'll
least
always
know
have the
where that
games in the
is.
books. You
That's
know?
right. And the first 2 seasons.
Unless you can't read,
Yeah.
like most of you fucking trolls.
I could,
Hating on
they
Harry
do have
Potter.
books on demand. You can have one read to
Yeah,
you.
you can have an Audible book read to you
Yeah.
by Samuel L.
It'd
Jackson.
be all right. It'd be all right. That would be cool.
It would.
Yeah, I always wanted my Siri to be voiced by either Snoop Dogg or Samuel L. Jackson.
You imagine like
That would
Samuel L.
be dope.
Jackson reads nursery.
Well, we're
No,
probably.
I just want him to give me directions.
We're
Turn
not-
here, motherfucker.
Exactly,
I
yeah.
said, I said turn
Mary
here.
had a little lamb.
there was
Fleece was white as
there
fucking
was
snow.
a download a few years ago to get Sam Jackson to do the directions, but it was like after a while they took it down. But with the AI bots and all the things now with the
They should be able to do it.
you can just go to all the movies, take all his audio, program it in, and then that's it. The algorithm will start spitting out in his
Okay.
voice instead.
So now, do you think it's going to get to the point when it comes to this? Because this is interesting. Like, do they just say, hey, we have Samuel M. Jackson's voice here because it's not really, or like, because are they stealing from him? Can they just
For-
change it up and then sell it like without his authority?
No. Without his authority, no. Not especially not while he's still alive. Not unless he sells the rights to it. But for people like that have done hours and hours publicly, they can easily just take your cadence and build an algorithm around it. That they could already
Sure.
do that now.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's not
and then
even
just call it Samuel M. Jackson.
like that's
you
not
know what I
even
mean?
Yeah.
future stuff. I mean,
So
that's
I can make like Lisa Marie Presley
Like-
on GPS.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I think they'd be hard pressed to do it with a computer
Williams.
AI right now, but they can do it when they get people that mimic people's voices. For
Right.
like you see it on the commercials all the time where it's on the radio where they're clearly like, oh, that's like 95% of the person's voice.
Willow.
Yeah.
Willow. They did something with Val Kilmer's voice from the original Willow movie to make it sound like.
Well,
Matt
that
Morgan.
one they
It wasn't- it definitely wasn't him.
de-aged his voice,
Yeah.
Right.
which yeah.
Right, but that I'm sure was with his
But
express
yeah,
permission.
to outright,
sure.
to outright copy it, they would have to. I think at this point they would still have to give permission. But We
Live
can
from
do
Val
that
Kilmer.
now.
No, you can't use my
Like,
voice.
what did you think of Christian Slater's performance
In what?
in Willow?
It's cringy.
It was
hard. It was hard.
It was hard. It was hard to
It
watch.
was hard to watch.
You know what though? Look, overall,
What was he doing there?
He was in.
What was Christian Slater doing there? He was not in Willow.
He was Mad Mortigan's like, I don't know,
Friend or something?
nephew.
Was that in the fucking script? Were they like did Val Kilmer's like, yeah, you can use a weird audio thing of my voice if
I think
Christian
he's-
Slater is in the movie?
He's a personal friend of Willow from some of the background stuff that I watched
Why was
about the
Christian
show.
Slater in it?
I don't know. It was.
He was so out of place.
Yeah, it was. I don't know.
I was like, he's 100 years old. This fight scene sucks.
Yeah,
What the
it
fuck
took
are we
it
doing?
took me out of the world
It
when I
did.
seen Christian.
The whole
Slater.
thing took me out of the world.
It's like when you're
I
watching
watched it because I
Willow.
It was such a great movie when I was a kid, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna finish.
Like if
this.
you're watching that and all of a sudden like
I would not have finished it if I didn't know anything about Willow.
what's his name from Baywatch?
Oh,
Oh,
Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff.
Right. Like if Hasselhoff popped up in a dungeon somewhere, you're like, I call bullshit. I call bullshit. Same
Yes.
thing with Christian Slater.
But Hasselhoff is
Yeah.
now in the business of being Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Right.
He's larger than his own name.
That's when it would
That's
be
like
funny.
like Jeff Goldblum now also is in the business of Jeff Goldblum.
Pop culture
as
hero.
he should be. As he should be.
So I mean, they're
Nick Cage in it.
that
You know
is-
Dana's
that's
obsessed
always
with him?
a fourth wall
With,
break
with
moment.
With Jeff Goldblum, Dana's like obsessed with him.
That's interesting.
She calls him Daddy Goldblum. So yes, he is. He's got some kind of power.
Ever since the Jurassic
it's
Park,
charisma.
so
It's charisma.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
you can literally
Him
buy the
laying there,
statue.
him laying there in the black leather jacket.
You
with
can
his
buy
shirt
the
on.
statue of him laying down like that.
my God.
They do make them.
I'm sure he has one life size in his living room.
I would.
He's that kind of a guy.
I
I
would.
watched this like Jeff Goldblum discovers the world or
Oh
something.
yeah,
like
he was
that
on Disney, wasn't it?
I thoroughly loved it, and like I learned nothing watching the show. Like it was supposed to be like
He's an odd. He's
educational.
just an odd guy and
But
entertaining.
I just enjoyed his mannerisms and him just I don't know like interacting with the world around him.
There's
Yeah.
a picture of him. He's like in a nightclub, and he's like making out with this one girl, and he has another girl over here, and he's like choking her. I was like, what the fuck? That dude's a damn rock star.
Only Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, Jeff,
Yeah.
slow down.
All right, so guys, let's talk about it. I'm
Which one?
super
There's two.
super excited. Let's start with Vox Machina.
Yeah,
Alright.
since we're like gearing from the Dungeons and Dragons into a similar thing.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. We didn't even know it was out until Ian told us.
6
Yep.
episodes in now.
And 6 episodes in, loving the whole
direction they're going.
thing.
Yeah.
yeah, they added a little more of a serious tone. They have a goal.
Yeah.
They're actually trying to accomplish, which gives them somewhere to go and something to do, other than just kind of fumbling around and becoming heroes by mistake.
That episode 6. Whew.
That was a tough
That was the
watch.
best one.
Yeah.
That was the best one so far.
I've enjoyed the characters' progression. It seems like each one of them are in this side mission, side quest to become a better version of themselves. They're leveling up as each episode
Scanlan is
goes.
so good.
Yeah.
Scanlan is
Man,
so good. He's
Bro, he's
such
like-
a well done character.
Him and the
He really
Sphinx
is.
was fucking hilarious.
Oh my god, unbelievable! And I knew where it was going to when he said like, "You need you to hurt me." I was like, "I know what this."
Yes.
fucker's
yeah,
gonna do.
Yeah.
they
I was
had
like, I
to
know
give him
how-
something.
I know, and it was so good. When
Yeah.
as soon as it started, I was like, "Here it goes." Here it goes. So
Bro,
this is
I
so
cried
good.
when I heard the song. I was
It
like,
was so
it's so
goddamn
touching.
It was so good. You done with no mortal could.
But what I'm really loving, probably my favorite backstory is, what's the barbarian's name?
Grog.
Grog.
Because
The
he's
blood drinking sword.
bro. The vampire lord's
What's it
blood
called? It's called the.
thirsty
It's,
sword.
oh my god! It's got some kind of name. It's like
It's so
it gets stronger, but it gives you a bloodlust.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it grants him like almost like brute strength,
Well,
rage,
supposedly-
healing ability.
Yeah.
like,
The black dude martial artist that beat the shit out of him.
yeah.
And also the Sphinx have both said to him, "You don't know where your strength comes from."
Yeah.
Right, because
And
he's putting his
in
strength into the sword.
In his hallucinations, he saw that big dude who apparently has the gauntlets.
Yes.
Apparently, that's one of the things.
Yeah.
And I guess he said something about the herd. So the
Yes.
herd must be the troop of giant things
Uh-huh.
that Grog's from. So I don't know, man. I think there's some good episodes coming.
I
Yeah.
think he draws his strength from his friends.
What's
from
Percy
his
get?
family.
Oh, don't do that. I
From,
hope it doesn't
from
do that.
his familia.
Oh my God. The wokeness.
He almost resembles Vin Diesel, if you
We
would.
did
No,
skip.
no.
We did.
Fuck you. No.
We did skip Vin Diesel in Arc 2.
And we're not going to talk
No,
about
we're
it.
not going to
No.
talk about Vin Diesel.
Are we
Stick to
sure?
Groot.
Because
Stick
it
to
is
Groot.
clearly, dude. They put his whole face in the game.
Yes, it's
not even the
terrible.
voice. It is him
It's
in the
Vin
game.
Diesel. Well, he's a caveman lookalike. It's all right. Yeah, but
You think he's going to say, I am Groot?
he should. He should. But Grog is a blatant Kratos ripoff.
Oh, yeah.
Same color
Yes.
scheme.
Oh,
Same
yeah.
color. And when they gave him the beard this season,
beard
I
was
like,
hilarious.
He's Kratos.
The beard belt is fucking amazing.
If only there was a beard.
Right? As soon as he put that belt on, he got the beard and
Yep.
they cut it off. It grew right back. I'm like, that is fucking great. Useless, hilarious, all at the same time.
Vax's armor is like literally from Skyrim. It's the Nocturne Nightingale. armor.
Nightingale.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
exactly what it is. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I did this quest. I did this quest. I know exactly what
I
it is.
have this armor.
Exactly.
I
I was
have it.
explaining what this is.
Yeah.
This is one of the strongest light armors in the game. I know what this is.
Yeah, it makes
But-
him the ultimate assassin.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could,
Yeah.
And he's seeing things and hearing things. Keyleth, whatever, her shit's ridiculous. Like fire avatar. I was
Yes.
like, okay, whoa. Oof,
Yeah, she's
oof.
gonna be one of the.
You just got more dangerous.
And you know
Yep.
what's crazy is that for her, all of her shit is inside of her.
Yeah.
It's her personality that doesn't allow her to become as powerful as she is until the time requires it.
Yeah.
And then she gets that next level up.
My favorite character is Percy, and I want to see what he gets. I don't know what he's going to get, but I want him to get something.
Yeah, Percy's been kind of
Yeah, they
under the
didn't-
radar this whole season, right?
Well, he
Well,
was very heavy in the first
Yeah,
season.
he was. They were all
Yeah.
going to his home.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where Grog gets the sword and all that.
Because I haven't seen the Death Doctor
quiet-
for a
been
while,
quiet
so
for a
they
while.
need to
Yeah.
they need to give him something to substantiate him.
He goes full psycho when he goes like that, though.
He
Yeah.
does, which is why I liked the good, simple barbarian character has this very
All strength.
complex
Strength in the
fight
face.
Yeah.
with this sword, and then he essentially stabbed his best friend.
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah,
that-
spoiler.
Now
that's a tough
they
watch.
they disappeared in a golden light, which is usually what when
Brings
she's
her back
using
to
her,
her-
when she's doing her powers. That's
Right.
usually what she glows with, a little golden
Yeah.
light.
They go.
Yeah, so something happened. I hope they
Stabbed
don't-
your healer, man. Bad move.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I hope
seriously.
they don't quite get rid
Yeah.
of the sword. Maybe find a way to turn it good, or
Oh, you don't turn
Or
a sword that
they-
drinks blood good.
they
No.
might-
Yeah.
That sword is
He
that's
needs-
wishful
evil.
thinking.
Clearly,
Wishful thinking.
clearly, he's intended to get the gauntlets. They showed a bow,
Yeah.
which is clearly for their archer.
he's probably gonna have
yeah.
to detox from the sword, though.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
yeah.
he does,
Sword
and he
heroin.
has to go to the monk, learn where his strength is from his family. You heard it here first, from his family.
Ah, the name is the Craven Edge.
The Craven Edge. Yes, yes. And I think that's where
Yeah,
his
because he
story
calls it
arc
Cravey,
could
doesn't
go.
he?
Yeah, he does.
So they got a bow on the horizon. Scanlan's sword was stolen.
Yep.
They got the armor.
But the sword only shows you where other things are.
Right, and they showed two: the bow and the gauntlets.
Yep.
Right. So those are the next two quests, probably in the next 3 episodes.
Yeah,
I'm
they're in the
hoping.
world of the Fae trying to get that bow, and God knows where Grog and Scanlan.
Here's the thing that bothered me though. Kill the fucking dragon. Grog was fucking
Yeah.
hammering that
He
dragon.
was doing all right, but
That dragon was hurting, bro. That dragon
it was,
limping.
but it's still that dragon had the upper hand.
That dragon
It
is
was
having a
like-
real bad day the next day.
Listen, all I'm saying
mean-
is
He's a
they
little
could have
cut. He's a
leaned.
little
I
Yeah.
mean, a little fire and a little bit of speedy with the armor, they might have been able to really
I
put
saw,
him.
I saw a tear in the dragon's eye. I saw a tear. I was like, "You got fucked up, bro."
But
You
Myth
got
Carver,
fucked
they
up.
lost Myth Carver.
They
They
did.
lost it. They
They
just
did.
got it and they lost it.
It would have been a fair exchange because the Sphinx died, which I didn't think he was gonna take a beating like that.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you how
how
strong
strong
the
these dragons
are.
yeah, these are ancient elder dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
so-
a dragon that literally, like a Sphinx that literally soloed the whole team,
Yeah.
gets fucking thrown around.
Noxious,
Thrown around by this dragon.
noxious gas. He was
Oh,
like,
it was like
or
the
was
venom,
it caustic?
venom.
It's
yeah.
a-
It's like
yeah,
caustic
it's like-
acid dragon.
Yeah, that was
So there's a caustic acid dragon.
Yep.
There's an
Ice.
ice dragon.
Yep.
There is a gas dragon.
correct.
There is a gas dragon, and then
Fire.
well, what's his name?
Big boy spitting fire.
Starts with TH. It's like
Yeah, he's a
oh,
lava
it's-
hound,
Yeah, he's the king.
Mm-hmm.
He's the king of the dragons.
and he
good
doubles
title to
as
have.
a toy owner, toy store owner.
Oh yeah, he does. He wants you to bring him stuff.
Yeah. There's a video of the voice of the dragon. It's called Toys R Me.
Yeah, it's worth a watch.
It's worth watching. It's 5 minutes long. Best 5 minutes of your life. I promise you, you will fucking laugh your ass off. It's from Funny or Die. It's a very old
All right.
clip. But when me and Eddie were listening to the Dragon again, I was like, I know that voice. Toys R Me. He's like, this ain't Toys R Us, bitches. This is Toys R Me. It's fucking funny, but he's a good serious actor. So when I seen him in that comedy clip, it was perfect because it was like, here's somebody you usually see like an FBI agent or a serious detective, and now he's doing satire. It was a perfect blend. He does voice video games as well.
Yeah, he's one of the main guys in Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Thordak.
He's one of the
Thordak, the leader of the Chroma.
Not to be
Conclave.
mistaken from DoorDash.
No. That's a separate
Don't
monster.
order food from him.
No. You don't want Thordak bringing you anything.
It's interesting. I don't know how many seasons. I mean, but the shows now, they just keep green lighting you as long as you're doing well. But I know Critical Role still running for years and years and years, and they play for hours at a clip. So I mean, they gotta have
Well, if this is a sign
tons
of what
of
they're gonna
stories kind of in their back pocket they could run off of.
I
Well, they're
say
gonna
keep
start. They're gonna
pumping
start
it
doing.
out.
Yeah, they're gonna start doing shit like this. I'm all in.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the best. Like you guys were telling me more about what they did, but this is like the best thing I've seen. This is insane. It might be my favorite Amazon Prime show.
It's definitely up there. It's definitely.
I think
up
I
there.
enjoy it more than Lord of the Rings.
It's-
I know the scale of Lord of the Rings is
Right.
bigger and there's more at stake, but Vox Machina, I enjoy every single episode.
You know what it
start
is?
to
Too?
finish.
It's the diversity in the characters that is enforced. Like you got the funny guy, the barbarian. Like they're all traditional to their roles. And I think
And
having
it's by no means the Avengers. It's not a great team.
No,
but
no.
hey, you know,
But
they all
that's what
serve
makes
their
it
purpose.
fun, though.
Yeah.
Too, right?
They're all
It's 'cause
they're really
kind of
imperfect.
fuck ups.
Really imperfect.
Except for like the one that's always coming through, but she always gets fucked up. The little dwarf paladin,
Pike.
Yeah, I was sad. I was like, not Pike. No,
No, I know it's.
Stab the bear. What the fuck?
Trinket, you leave Trinket alone. Jesus, come on, man.
Yo, Trinket stepped it up this season too.
Yeah.
Trinket's fucking shit up. I'm like, you know what? Do your thing, Trinket.
Well, it's good to have an armored bear around in any situation.
It never hurts.
Speaking of green light for season 2, Last of Us already got green lit. It's not even episode 3 out, and it already got green lit for a second.
If they
season.
maintain the quality,
It's gonna be a motherfucker.
because
Yeah.
what's funny is you had mentioned last week you watched the first episode.
Yes.
The first episode is a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half. That's a
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some kind of.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half. That's movie
Well,
territory.
you're getting there. You're getting there in the movie.
Like-
movie adjacent.
yeah.
They're really
Movie like.
and quality wise, I mean, that's a movie.
Yeah.
They spared no expense in
Yeah.
telling the story.
Hats off to Pedro Pascal. He is
Yes.
Joel.
He's a fantastic
Yeah.
actor.
He
is Joel.
And is that
He's
the girl from that 70s show?
It's
No.
the girl from Game of Thrones. She
No.
She was little
his
lady
partner,
Mormont.
the older lady with
Oh,
Pedro.
Tess.
No.
I don't, no, I
It
don't
looks
think so.
like her.
I don't think it's she.
She has a very similar aesthetic then, I
No,
guess.
she's actually the girl from that 70s show is on the 90s show right now. She actually lost a healthy chunk of weight considering how skinny she already was, actually. But yeah, the whole cast from that 70s did at least appearances in the 90s show that
Yeah.
just dropped on Netflix as well.
Okay, I haven't taken a look.
But
at that yet.
Where do I know her from?
She's
Anna
a very-
Torvi.
She's a very
Fringe. That's where she's from.
there we go.
Yo, if you haven't seen Fringe, if you like the X-Files kind of a
I
show,
love the X-Files.
that's got a
Loved.
dope vibe to it. But I was like, man, for whatever reason, I thought she was the girl from that 70s show.
Yeah, no,
but
she had a very familiar face, but
Fringe is it's a fucked up show, but it's good.
I like
It's
X-Files.
good. Yeah, like definitely along the lines of X-Files, but it dabbles into like each.
X-Files used to scare the shit
it's
out of
quite literally all about fringe science and
Correct.
and two universes merging and colliding.
me. Flat Earth.
No,
God damn it.
no,
Listen, if
real
you
science.
Still believe in
Oh,
flat
real-
Earth,
real
get the
science.
Fuck out of my house.
But speaking of real science, they went with funguses for spreading this whole horrific disease.
Correct.
The cordyceps mushrooms is what they're
Episode
leaning
2,
on.
Episode 2, where the world in Indonesia, the
Yes.
world-renowned
Spoilers.
mycologist. Yeah, super spoilers.
spoilers.
Turn this the fuck off. So like in episode 2,
Yep.
Yeah.
stop listening to us. So in episode 2,
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
unsubscribe.
Keep
So
listening.
the world-renowned mycologist,
Mm-hmm.
like when she finally sees like what's happening, she gets
Mm-hmm.
like the idea of she's like, wait a minute, what do you mean this fungus is infecting people?
Yeah.
And when she gets the idea of what's happening, people are getting bit and stuff.
Yeah.
The general's like, what do we do? And she goes,
Yeah.
bomb the city.
She
Bro,
ran.
that was hard.
She's like tears in her eyes, looking at him like.
She's like, I want to go home to my
She
family.
ran
like,
the numbers in her head. She's like, wait, he's not even the original person that infected. You have 14 already missing, and it took less than a day for the person to turn into this thing.
Yeah.
Bomb. Your
Yeah.
options are bomb. We don't have things for funguses like this.
There's nothing you can do, and that's
Yeah.
the way they look at it. Like in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Like it's a virus.
Yep.
It's the T virus or the G
Right.
virus, depending on what game you're playing. It's viral.
Right.
Viruses you can.
With
you
me,
can-
it's always the G virus.
well,
You see what I did?
they got cream for that. Anyway, but a virus you can kind of isolate and you can make an antibiotic for it,
Yep.
or you can make an antiretroviral or something to combat it.
Right.
You don't fucking bacteria.
With
Antibiotic.
bacteria, you use a fungus.
Yeah.
You use a fungus to kill the bacteria. We
So
don't
you-
have things for the
So
to
you
kill
gotta
the
get a time
fungus.
to wash your hands.
Yes, you have nothing for fungus. You have nothing for
Antibacterial
fungus.
soap.
Like
hand sanitizer.
if a fungus gets like that and starts affecting you, you're fucked. There's
Especially-
literally nothing you can do. You can kill the
Especially if
person.
it's
That's
getting
it.
past the blood-brain barrier. Oh, you're done.
Yes, and this is getting transferred through a
Yeah,
bite.
and if anything, two to the head might be a bad idea.
Yeah,
You might
You're gonna
that-
let the fungus out.
You're
gonna
spraying
shoot
it
the
on
spores
yourself.
everywhere.
That might be part of the problem. They're like, it kills the thing, but the fungus is like, I will survive.
Yeah.
Right, which makes spoiler alert. Turn this off. Ellie all that much more important.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because why the hell is she immune?
Right? I would have thought that they were going to try to, like,
That's the
take
most
some,
valuable thing on the planet, right?
Yeah.
take some blood from her and just spray it all over the infection.
If it was like that, yeah. Just turn her into a blood cannon.
Yeah, just like hold her by her feet. Just like, we need a little more blood.
Also,
I was sad to see her go, though, so soon.
the test, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she's a great character.
Yeah.
And I
The
never
fact-
played the game, so I don't know how
The
the game
fact that you
plays
can
out.
step on a piece of the fungus anywhere in the city and
That's
attract all
disturbing.
the infected
Yeah,
to
if you step on a portion that's
horrifying.
live, it can spread it to any of the other portions nearby that are still live if they're connected.
It lets them know you're
Oh my
there.
god! I just realized they are Sigourney Weaver from the Avatar. Doesn't she talk to the whole planet
She does.
through a system of
Are you-
roots
are you
from a tree?
Are you suggesting that Sigourney Weaver is responsible for the fungus infection?
No, either her or James
She'd be-
Cameron. Either her or James Cameron.
You leave James out of this.
The great and powerful James Cameron.
I mean, you could
The taller
theoretically
than average James Cameron.
you could
Slightly.
you could theoretically explain the way they communicate with everything's through a fungus network, because
Right.
trees and plants use a fungus network to connect. So if you say, well, it's gotten to the point where that fungus network is also within the brains of the more sentient creatures, that could be the way that they use their tail to connect and talk with everything.
And who
making-
doesn't
you're-
love brains?
Yeah, you're making Mario's Mushroom Kingdom sound a lot scarier,
buddy.
bro.
Well, Mario's mushrooms are the colors of hallucinogenic
Too hot for
mushrooms.
that, huh?
So his mushroom kingdom could be all in his head. Look at the rest of the world
you
around
think
him
that
in
all
the
the-
last
you think
Mario
all-
game. Everything looks normal,
Psychedelic.
like real life, almost graphics wise.
You think
And then
all-
he's the only cartoon character running around.
So you
It's
think
me,
all
Mario.
you think all the Mario games are just two fat Italian plumbers just tripping mushrooms,
I mean, their jobs is plumbers.
I'm in.
and we're just seeing their visions?
Are you mad because Mario lays pipe? Is this what you're saying?
Listen, Mario had a
But
good.
not as good as Bowser because Peach keeps running. away.
Oh yeah, we're running. You ever see those?
Getting.
I know I seen a
captured.
cartoon like that.
Yeah.
Luigi's talking to Mario. He's like, bro, how many times is he gonna run? Or it was like Prince
Yeah.
Toadstool. Like, how many times is she gonna run away?
Yeah, it's like
How many
Peach.
times
It's like
are you
Peach
gonna
and Bowser.
save her?
Peach
again?
and Bowser laying in bed. Bowser smoking a cigarette. He's like, what are you gonna tell him? What are you gonna tell him? What are you gonna tell him? Just tell Mario the truth.
Just he needs to know already.
He needs to know.
No, but The Last of Us has been done pretty masterfully so far.
Last of Us is the show I'm looking forward to most now.
Yeah.
It makes
I look
the
forward to
show
Sunday nights
is
again.
so
Yeah.
well done. I want to go and play the game.
Yeah,
Same.
I have to
Same.
concur with that. I've never played it, but it's making it that much more appealing.
They
to
did
me.
recently release a remastered
Yeah,
version.
they
I was
did
thinking
the
about picking that-
remastered version.
I was thinking about picking that
Is
up.
it free on Xbox?
No, unfortunately, unlike other PlayStation exclusives that are slowly making their way to Xbox,
Oh, I can only
this
play it?
one is
Okay.
is purely a PlayStation. It's been for like a decade only
That's
PlayStation.
good. That's good.
And I would have to
Where it
say
should
that
stay.
once a show comes out and it's making it as popular as it is, even if it was free, they're gonna yank that bitch, drive up the
Yes.
price, and make you pay
and
for
re-release
it.
it. Yeah.
Well, what they did was they put it on their online subscription, their online streaming subscription, but it's only at the highest tier. that you could play The Last of Us.
Okay.
So
That
it's
makes
like,
sense.
oh, you mean this game that's like 10, 15 years old
Right.
can only be played on your highest tier subscription? Thanks, Sony.
When
They
are
know what they
when are
got.
they gonna just remaster games that like haven't been released in the last 10 years? Like why are they remastering Resident Evil 4? It came
Right.
out like fucking not that long ago.
Well, what's happening
Felt
now
like
is
anyway, I don't know.
so like for instance, if you look at what Xbox is doing, they're trying to design it where the games can almost be automatically upgraded.
Right.
So like on the Xbox, they automatically upscale them and add HDR.
Okay.
And for like 95% of the games, it works. It just runs. For some of them, you're like, oh, just turn off the HDR.
Yeah.
But out the gate, they were able to kind of back compat most of that. So if they start designing the games with the idea of, hey, if we leave certain things designed the right way or open the right way, that the future consoles can just run them better.
Right.
Like, if we don't lock the frame rate, well then, even if it doesn't upscale the graphics, now it's running at 60 FPS versus 30.
Okay.
So a lot of things like that do happen on the Xbox where it'll automatically start running up at a higher frame rate, at a higher resolution. It'll add HDR and all kinds of other effects essentially automatically. And Xbox is shelling out huge money to do this so that their back catalog looks as good as possible on even the newer consoles.
Well, what Xbox needs to do is remaster Jade Empire because that game was legendary.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it anywhere.
Yeah.
I'd have to check, but they have a pretty extensive list of games going all the way back to the first Xbox that
If you can get
you could
Jade
take
Empire,
the disc,
download it.
a lot of them you could take the disc, you put it in, and then it'll download it. The
Yeah.
game, the patched new version for you.
Jeez.
I mean, Xbox is all about fan service. What about that PlayStation?
Oh, we're just about exclusivity. Only the best. Only the best.
I still want to play God of War though. I am jealous for that. God of War is
So
probably
Xbox
the
is like
only game I wanna play.
Xbox is like Athens, where they're just accepting everybody and loving everybody. Everybody's just getting together to share knowledge. And fucking PlayStation is just Sparta. They're like inspecting you. Nope, fucking off the cliff.
And
like,
so then
Not
they,
good
they-
enough.
They meet at
Yeah,
the hill,
exactly.
and he's like, "So how many warriors did you bring? 300."
Yeah.
He's like, or no, he's like, "How many warriors did you bring?" He's
yeah.
like, "Well,
The line-
I see you, sir. What is your
Yeah.
job? A sculptor.
Yeah, exactly,
You,
yeah,
sir. What
yeah.
is your job? A floor
a
sweeper."
Potter, sir.
Yeah. He's like, "Spartans."
What is your profession?
Yo,
You see, my friend, I brought more soldiers.
that was one of the best lines in that fucking movie.
That's
bro.
how they start a Spartan race.
It gave me chills.
That's how they start a Spartan
It
race.
gave me. Is it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that gave me chills.
They give you that like speech, and then they open the gate. They're running so goddamn fast.
As they should. I mean, that's the way to go to war.
It's
Like, you watch that
appropriate.
movie, you send people through the door. It was like when I was in basic training, we had the opposite effect for Hamburg. I think it was Hamburger Hill.
That was a battle in Vietnam, wasn't it?
Where there's a scene where the drill sergeant is just shitting on the soldiers, just shitting on them like basic training style, and just eating them alive, like Gomer Pyle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're sitting there eating breakfast, right? And the drill sergeants are just huddled around this old school TV on the wheels, like they used to wheel into the fucking high school rooms.
Yes.
And they're watching the drill sergeants chew up their soldiers, and we're sitting there eating our breakfast. We're like, we're so fucking dead. They're getting so hype off of this shit, and like you're not even done eating. They just come over and slap the fucking food off the table. Like 3 minutes isn't long enough to eat. You don't deserve to eat. Get the fuck out of here. You're like, fuck, bro.
They're
You
just
learn
getting
to,
themselves hyped up.
yeah, you learn to turn every meal into almost a sandwich. Like
great.
oatmeal, fuck it. Grits, fuck it. Just throw it on the cereal. It's gonna crunch anyway. It's all going to the same place. You eat
Necessity. Eating for necessity, not
Yeah,
for enjoyment.
yeah. That's right. It is sustenance at this point.
Right. It keeps me alive. That's all we need.
Just like the Sofa Kingdom podcast, Eddie, hit it.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast, where you love our shit.
I guess.
Yeah. No, you better. No, you better. No, no,
We
no.
do a pretty good job.
Yeah,
you know?
we try
put
really
out some
hard.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
I think so. But Eddie, tell us tell these people where they can find us.
Sofa Kingdom OFC,
And
Sofa Kingdom podcast on YouTube.
nice. Ian, what do you got to say to these fine
I don't
fine
have
people?
nothing to say to these people. You better been doing your homework. Better been quizzing people.
See how to switch it up at the end there. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
You know, leave your feedback. You know, I haven't seen any questions. You know,
Yeah.
ask us questions.
I
personal
actually
questions.
had one question. They want to know where Eddie bought his hat.
Oh, Boston Scally.
Boston
Scally.
Scally. Is that a .com?
Yeah.
There you go.
It's not a store.
Go get his hat.
I don't know if they have have an actual physical store.
Marshalls,
Marshalls,
Goodwill.
Target.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.